I bring you greetings from our president, Dr. Rudy Crew, Provost Augustine Okoriki, and a host of Medgar Evers College City, University of New York faculty, staff, and students. We thank you for the opportunity to be with you at this international conference. Congratulations and compliments to the Planning Committee for their hard work and dedication to bringing this complex but important work to fruition. Thank you to the team of international presenters who have taken time to join together to discuss their research and insight on a wide range of globalization, entrepreneurship, and emerging economic topics. In this brief time I have with you, I will try to do three things. One, share a little bit about our forthcoming book, The Future of Work and Entrepreneurship. We will also present a paper at the conference later with more detail and content. I will also try to share a little on the disruption in the global labor force caused by the accelerated transformation to a gig economy. And lastly, I will share the imperative of the adaptation advantage to better address challenges of opportunities, access, and equity. I will then summarize the dream, the hope, and rise of humanity in the future of work and entrepreneurship. So let's start with the future of work and entrepreneurship for the underserved, our forthcoming book. We are working with a global group of academicians and practitioners who are producing for early publication next year evidence of an evolving transformation of entrepreneurial innovation in underserved communities, which we believe will trigger conversations for a new and better future for all. I will share a few preliminary observations from that body of work, as well as others on the need to embrace the coming transformation of opportunity creation through agile adaptability. Our contributors in our forthcoming book, The Future of Work and Entrepreneurship for the Underserved, write from the perspective of countries in the US, Kenya, India, Pakistan, Chile, Philippines, Bangladesh, Japan, Vietnam, Nigeria, and Mexico. The handbook will be compiled in the following chapter subsections, and we ask ourselves pertinent questions. Section 1 of the book, Education and the Changing Dynamics of the Underserved. How will we learn, relearn, and unlearn? Section 2 of the book, Technology and Innovation for the Future of Work and Entrepreneurship. What new skill sets are required for this new workplace and businesses? Section 3 of the handbook, Small Business Development for the Future of Work and Entrepreneurship. How do we retool this new workforce? Section 4, Diversity of the Labor Markets, Creating Inclusivity for the Underserved. What strategies will ensure inclusivity and achievement of SDGs for the underserved? And finally, Section 5, Summary and Recommendations. What roadmap, policies, and pathways will enhance the future of work and entrepreneurship that is tailored to align with underserved communities in different regions of the world? And just to give you a few preliminary insights and observations from the book, not meant or intended to go in depth. Our first observation is that post-COVID education will transform. It is transforming in both urban and rural areas globally, sometimes swiftly and sometimes slowly, but it is transforming. Observation number 2, the change of pace in technology is requiring upskilling and reframing of training of the worldwide labor force. The challenge will be how to give access to skill adjustments to those who don't have access to education, training, or technology. Number 3, development of small entrepreneurial businesses focused on youth, women, and other target populations that may be displaced from the dynamics of the labor market. Solutions for migrant and other seasonal labor will be assessed for alternative, productive, and socially just strategies. Fourth observation, new ecosystems for government, corporate, academic, and community partnerships will replace the silo strategies of the past. Humanity can and will transform to a better tomorrow as all stakeholders work together for increased productivity. Labor will rise through entrepreneurial pursuits, and the middle of the pyramid will broaden. We believe this discourse will trigger other conversations that will ensure attainment of SDGs and inclusivity for underserved communities globally. And so that's my colleagues, what the book is going to look like. But now I'm going to transition to what are we going to in the gig economy. And this is fairly exciting for me. The gig economy is a large, complex, rapidly evolving space. If you don't have a good listening system in place, you can quickly fall behind pace. Maintaining research on the gig economy and augmenting your own experience base by collaborating with your network on best practices will help you succeed. And that quote is taken from The Gig Mindset: Reclaim your time, reinvent your career, and ride the next wave of disruption. And that's by Paul Estes, and that book came out last year. And so I'm interested in this gig economy, and I did a survey on LinkedIn, and I asked how many or who believe that 50% of the population will be in the gig economy. The result of that poll was that 75% of those that responded believe that 50% or more of the worldwide workforce will be in the gig economy in 5 years, a rapid change because most of us are in the employment economy right now. So I followed up with an additional survey, and in that survey, I asked participants, will you personally, not someone else, be among those in the gig economy in 5 years? And 75% of those that responded said yes or maybe. Only 20% believed that they would not be in the gig economy. So the gig economy is serving many in rural and urban developing countries now. And I'm going to give you a story about a young man in Bangladesh. At a young age, Fahim built a solo entrepreneur practice that with streams of revenue to help support his family in their rural village. And so I want to bring to you a very short video so that you can meet Fahim in Bangladesh and hear his story of how remote work, entrepreneurship changed his life. In spite of having MS as a child, Fahim recently passed away. So that's the sadness part of this story. But he left a legacy, and in his legacy lives on a home that he built for his family and the hundreds of satisfied virtual customers that used his service over his short lifetime. We'll play the video now. And as we're queuing the video up, I will share with you after the video some of the comments.
That I am done, you don't know me. All my life, I had to fight. No one believed in me, so I had to believe in myself. My physical condition broke me, but it made me mentally stronger. My weaknesses were crushing me, but that only made me smarter. And you think I am done? Dear world, I have one thing to say. I am not like you, because I am not you. I am Fahim, and this is my story. আমার রোগটার নাম হলো ডুসনে মাস্কুলার ডিস্ট্রফি। তারপর এটা জেনেটিক ডিসঅর্ডার, যার ফলে এর কোনো কিওর, নির্দিষ্ট কোনো কিওর নাই। যখন আমি ক্লাস 8-এ পড়ি, তখন জিএসসি পরীক্ষার ঠিক 3 থেকে 4 দিন আগে আমার মানে হাঁটাচলা একদমই বন্ধ হয়ে যায়। কিন্তু হাঁটাচলা বন্ধ হয়ে যাওয়ার কারণে আমার লেখাপড়া আর কন্টিনিউ করা হয় নাই। টিভিতে স্টিফেন হকিংস সম্পর্কে জানতে পারি। তার স্টোরিটা আমার মতো ছিল যে আমারও আশা জাগে যে সে যেহেতু পারছে আমিও পারবো। তখন থেকে আমি তাকে ইন্সপিরেশন হিসেবে ধরে নিই। তারপর 2014 সালে আমি একটা অ্যান্ড্রয়েড ফোন কিনি। ইন্টারনেট সম্পর্কে জানতে পারি, ইন্টারনেটে যুক্ত হই। তারপরে ফেসবুক, গুগল ইত্যাদি সম্পর্কে জানতে পারি। ফেসবুকের একটি বিজ্ঞাপন থেকে আমি জানতে পারি যে অনলাইনের মাধ্যমে উপার্জন করা সম্ভব। তো আমারও তখন আশা জাগে যে অন্যরা যেহেতু ঘরে বসে করছে, আমিও নিজে চেষ্টা করলে পারবো। ছিলাম যে মোবাইল দিয়ে হয়তো উপার্জন করা সম্ভব, কিন্তু কিছুদিনের চেষ্টার পর আমি ব্যর্থ হই, জানতে পারি যে না, সম্ভব না। 2016 সালে আমার আম্মু কাঁথা সেলাই করে কিছু টাকা জমিয়েছিল, সেইগুলো দিয়ে ল্যাপটপ কেনা হয়। ল্যাপটপ কেনার পরও আমার কাজ শেখার জন্য ইন্টারনেটের দরকার ছিল, কিন্তু তখনও ইন্টারনেট কেনা সম্ভব ছিল না। আমি একটা ডিভিডি সম্পর্কে জানতে পারি, সেই ডিভিডি থেকে 3 মাস মতো কাজ আমি প্রতিদিন শিখি। তারপরেও আমি শুধু বিজনেস কার্ড আর ব্যানার ডিজাইন শিখে ফাইবারে অ্যাকাউন্ট খুলি। অ্যাকাউন্ট খোলার পরের দিনে আর কি প্রথম কাজ পাই। বায়ার অনেক খুশি হয় আমার কাজ দেখে। আমি ভাবছিলাম হয়তো আমাকে দিয়ে সম্ভব না, কিন্তু মানে আমি নিজেও অবাক হয়ে গেছিলাম যে আমি কিভাবে এটা করলাম। আমি আমার পরিবারের জন্য একটা জমি কিনি বাড়ি করার জন্য। ভবিষ্যৎ প্ল্যান হচ্ছে যে আমার মতো যারা আছে বা অনেক বাংলাদেশে বেকারত্বের অনেক সমস্যা, আমার ইচ্ছা যে তাদের পাশে দাঁড়ানো এবং বাংলাদেশকে রিপ্রেজেন্ট করে বিশ্বের দরবারে তুলে ধরা।
So, after seeing the video, there were many, many responses, and I just want to share a few with you so that you know globally, people are responsive to what's happening in the gig economy. And so one of the folks responded, wow, Fahim's story is so inspirational. I use 5R to create my business logo. You never know how that may be impacting a person, a family, or a community. As a musician, I've been a part of the gig economy for years and didn't even know it. Having options to supplement or create an income is a blessing. Another one responded, Fahim's story is truly inspirational. If Fahim could do it, why not we? Another instance talked about what is truly brilliant about Fahim's story is he made no excuses. He just found a way to bring market to him and deliver on exceptional product and service. That's the secret sauce. Also, we can practice our own version of global social responsibility. It is a gift. Another person said this was a really inspiring video. The gig economy is definitely affording more opportunities than ever before, and it will be interesting to see what happens in the future. A very powerful video. Fahim's story shows that we can all achieve great things. And so I just wanted you to hear not only his story, but a global response to his story. Here's someone who was not in the labor force, but through trial and finding a gift and a market was able to get into the gig economy and benefit himself and his family. So now I'm going to talk about the adaptation advantage, because what happened was Fahim adapted to his own culture. He was in the rural area, couldn't get to the urban area. He was able to take use of the internet technology. The infrastructure was there. So I'm going to talk a little bit about adaptation advantage. And there's being a lot written in the literature right now about it. The authors of the adaptation advantage, Let Go, Learn Fast, and Thrive in the Future of Work by McGaughan and Shipley present a framework for digesting the complexities of the future of work. They start by suggesting that we understand our why before we decompose the strategies of how to solve challenges in our future. They suggest that it's easy to peer into a rearview mirror and repeat our past, but the technology-driven change is driving us so fast that we will need more agile and predictive skills to transform to our desired future. So what is our why? Why are we interested in creating opportunities for diverse populations globally that will become a part of the gig economy that is accelerating because of COVID-19? In my presentation last year at this very same conference, we discussed the future of teaching and learning in the unscaled economy. We cited the work of Tajay and our 2017 paper. We discussed the new skills needed to lead this new workforce and why we must be successful for the many silent voices in the middle and lower level of the wealth pyramid that is growing flatter. We talked about the unscaled economy, preparing for the unscaled economy. The unscaled economy of the future includes a broad base of talent using technologies such as artificial intelligence, cloud computing, 3D printing, virtual reality, and later augmented reality. Instead of cloning homogeneous labor forces to support the demands of mass production, more diverse, creative, and agile entrepreneurial teams or persons will cost effectively produce for niche markets, even as small as a unit of one. And that is a quote taken from Tenjay, Rolatel, and others. As we go back to Farad, the technology enabled him to reach worlds beyond his village. He had no mentors, no managers, no coaches. It was his sheer grit and determination for a better life that led him to a new life. The adaptation advantage led me to an epiphany, and I'm going to share that with you. The epiphany painted a vision of the synergy of culture, capacity, and creativity, CQ. How culture is our why, and capacity is our growth, and creativity is our renewal. The final chapters in that book made a compelling argument for why diverse, multicultural, multi-generational, multidisciplinary, and cognitively divergent teams are needed. Why it's important to believe that we, as humanity, can solve the complex problems that will face us as long as we stay adaptable, curious, and are willing to fail while continuously working to learn. How do we develop a global workforce that pivots and adapts to changes as fast as the transformations occur? We must learn to mine, dig deep for opportunities by being flexible, using tools we have in our toolkits, or we may need to pivot to abandon old tools and skills that no longer serve us for newer ones more suitable for our future. There are those that will become astute at adding value, but the real winners in the future will be those that create value from new innovations that expound on our culture, our purpose, our reason for our tribal existence. We need to create within humanity a talent pool of believers in our purpose that listen, think, learn, adapt, change, grow, and repeat the continuous learning cycle. We need diverse and divergent thinking teams to lead that talent pool into an ever-changing world where mankind and machines coexist and thrive. And now I'm going to conclude in a summary on the bridging the gap between the dream and the rise. Just recently, I gave remarks at a UNDP webinar. My opening remarks at the webinar was a theme taken from the poet Maya Angelou. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Globally, many are facing the same plight of compression of the middle and lower classes. Technology is creating new opportunities, but many will need to change the way we work to engage opportunities of the future. Colleagues, we are the dreams of our ancestors. We cannot accept the future as it is written. We must find ways to rethink, re-engineer, reshape a future that will be sustainable for all, but most importantly, the underserved globally. Finally, out of the shadows of a global pandemic, we must be willing to change, for in change, we will reshape a future that has never existed. We must not go back to normal. We must hope for a better future. So what is the hope? The hope is in the future of work and entrepreneurship. There is much creativity and ingenuity and innovation among us. We can leapfrog and create or mine opportunities where none existed before by collaborating together and with others. The simple fact is that if we create more opportunities by becoming more agile and solving more complex problems, there is greater opportunities to scale and grow. This means that we need to reskill and retool at faster rates of change than we have known in our histories. We are on the rise. It was the visionary Nelson Mandela that said, "A winner is a dreamer who never gives up." We end much as we started, with a dream and a hope for humanity that can no longer be deferred. We must rise. The way forward and the future is ours together. And thank you.